Hey guys, this is Noel from the Drawing Room, and I'm really excited to tell you today about Wiper Pack, a new set of 30 textured transitions that we just released for After Effects. I'm really excited about these. I think they're super useful and fun and inexpensive, and I just really hope that you guys benefit from these as much as I have. All right, here we are in After Effects, and I've imported all of my wipers and put them into folders, okay? And you can see the file names are pretty clear. The vertical ones are named like V1 through V10, and the horizontal ones are named H1 through H10, and so on and so forth. So that kind of makes sense, I hope. The way that I built each mat, if you want to look at them, is that each one has an on and an off wipe, okay, within one file. And I just kind of figured that was the easiest way to go. And the way I intend for you to use this is to use time remapping to kind of create the spacing here. All right, so let's just walk through that real quick. If we go to Layer, Time, Enable Time Remapping, okay? Obviously, you get a keyframe for the first frame of the QuickTime movie and a keyframe for the last frame, or for the PNG sequence, it doesn't matter, okay? Now, I've indicated in the title, in the name of each file, a certain frame, okay? You can see here it's frame 24, here it's frame 16, here it's frame 8. In this one that I'm using, it's frame 16, okay? And in that case, what that means is frame 16, which is here, is the first full frame of black in the matte, okay? So that would be the first, if you're wiping on a photo or something, this is the first frame where it's completely on screen, okay? So the best way to go is just to create a keyframe here at frame 16, okay? Or whatever the frame is that's indicated here. And then, additionally, if you move forward one frame, on each one of the wipers, I've given 2 black frames in the middle, okay? And that is so you can create another keyframe here that, with this one now paired, means that you have a set of keyframes, 4 in fact. One that is the complete off state of the wipe on, and then the second one is the complete on state of the wipe on, okay? And then for as long as you put space between these 2 keyframes, you'll hold at that state. And then here's the first frame of the wipe off, and here's the last frame of the wipe. So now you have 4 keyframes that determine all of your wipe. You don't need to use the wipe off or the wipe on, and you can make this hold for as long as you want in the middle. Okay, so I think this is the easiest way to do this. Cool, so let me just show a really quick example of the way I would use this in a shot. Just say you have a shot where you have this gray background, and you want to wipe on this blue background, and then you also want to bring on these lines of type. Okay, and then you want it to all wipe off as well. All right, so let's say that's what you want to do, and the background's already on, so we need to wipe on this blue type, this blue background, this blue solid. And so let's choose, I don't know, let's choose one of these diagonal ones to do that. Okay, so I just moved this in, and let me quickly set this up with time remapping, Option Command T on a Mac, and we'll look for frame 32, which in a 2997 comp would be frame 102. Okay, that's fully black, so we'll set a keyframe there, and we'll move 1 frame ahead and set a keyframe there. And then I will just zoom in a little bit, select these 2, and spread that out, okay? And then I would drop that down over the blue and make an alpha mat out of the blue. Okay, so we've got that, right? So now we wipe from the blue on, and then it wipes off, and we'll figure out the timings of these later. We can always shove these down. By the way, plug, I've found that this works really well with obsessive layers, which we also sell. For example, you can trim to these keyframes and then trim the matte and fill together pretty much with 2 buttons. So that's really useful, plug. And the other thing that's really useful, I think, is to always set the matte and fill pairs by the same color once you have a lot of them. Okay, so we have this set, and now to wipe this type on, okay, let's choose some different, let's choose vertical, okay, let's choose this. Right, great, so let's set the time remapping and go to keyframe 16, frame 16, and make a keyframe. 1 more frame 17 and make another keyframe. Okay, and again, we'll just put these down at the end here somewhere. Right. Now we could just take this and make an alpha mat for the top line, and it would look like this, right? Which is pretty cool in and of itself. Or if we wanted more of a feeling of a transition on this, we could take the matte and kind of just quickly shrink it down and kind of position it in the middle somewhere and shrink it down even more. And then we could have kind of a situation like this where we get more of a slow on, slow off. The more we kind of fill this in, just making sure you're not cutting the edge anywhere, but the more we fill this in, the more we'll see the full range of the matte, right? So that's pretty nice. So you can always scale down the mattes or move them around. And let's just choose a different one. Let's choose a grunge matte. So this is like kind of a matte that looks like this, all right? So it's got this kind of diagonal sweeping thing, and it's frame 8. So I will hit time remap, go to frame 8 here. One more keyframe there. And I'll just drag these down to the end there, not worry about it so much. And let me do that thing, actually. See, it's starting to get confusing already, so let me pair these off by color. And so I know what the heck I'm actually looking at. Awesome. Great. So now we have a situation like this. And we can do the same thing with this matte that we did on that one and kind of maybe make this smaller, kind of center it and see what that looks like. That actually makes it a little slower, so maybe it's better not to do that on this. Right, so I would take these and I'd move these down and maybe offset these a little bit, right? And then we could just come up with some kind of cool out. That works pretty well actually already. Yeah, well, we could certainly tighten up the timings on this. And, you know, one thing that's nice is you could always swap in a different, like if you don't like that, the second matte I didn't think was that strong in this case. So we could always try one of these other frame 8 mattes of any sort. Since they already have the same keyframe timing, we might be able to get lucky and just drop a different one. I'm option and dropping and see what that looks like. Yeah, gave a different, kind of a different look as well. And we could also try scaling that down and see if it does something more interesting. I do like that better, actually. Oops. And then, yeah, it's just a matter really of like adjusting these keyframes to get the timing right. But the animation's all done, and you can always shorten these sequences if you want and make something like that. Genius. Cool. So I think that really explains it. And I hope you guys come up with some awesome things to do with this and enjoy yourselves. Thanks a lot.